Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in the Canton area or would like to know all about the Canton area? In this video, I'm going to tell you 8 of the best cities to live in the Canton area, actually all of Stark County for that matter. Now, I have to preface this that these are not my opinions. These are actually just experiences talking to other residents, my experience of being in these different cities, and some independent websites that have ranked things like school districts, crime, livability, affording housing, and many other factors put into play into this. I will actually put that link into my video here. You'll actually see it in the comment section, so if you want to click on it and see more detail of how everything's ranked, you'll be able to see all the details that I'm talking about now. So sit tight. With that in mind, we'll get started here shortly. What's up, everybody? This is Justin Robleski with High Point Real Estate Group in Northeast Ohio. If this is your first time to my channel, please take a quick moment to subscribe. Click on the little subscribe button and click on the little bell to be notified every time a new video comes out. We will be sending out videos weekly, so you'll be updated constantly what's going on around anywhere in the Northeast Ohio area. If you're looking at learning about what it's like to eat here, sleep here, play here, do anything you can imagine just having fun in Northeast Ohio, I am going to be your guy. Reach out to me. You can call me, text message me, email me, whatever works for you. You want to send a Facebook notification? Great. I answer my Facebook Messenger. But anytime you reach out to me, I'll be available as soon as possible. But in this video, like I just noticed, I'm going to go over 8 of the top cities that are ranked to actually live in the Stark County area. Number 1 is Nimishillen Township. You'll actually see it pop up here. It's kind of hard to spell, but you'll see it. So, the good things about Nimishillen Township, from just talking to different people and being there and experience it, is it's a very close-knit community. So if you're looking for like the small town feel, there's about 9,500 people population there. If you're just looking for to have your friendly neighbors and everybody kind of knows everybody and everybody gets along really well, and everybody's just a good community feeling overall, Nimishillen Township is the place to go. So here's the deal with them. There's a lot of small boutiques you can go to. You got your grocery stores, you got your smaller stores and mom and pop restaurants, things like that. But the downside to Nimishillen Township is there's not a whole ton of things to do. So if you have like teenage kids, for example, it's not exactly the highlight of their day to be actually in the area. So you kind of got to go into different areas like Canton. You can go to North Canton, even Hartville. There's some places to go to, and I'll actually cover several of those cities in this video as well. And then the other thing is there's just not a ton of shopping. So like I said, you'll have your mom and pop stuff, you have your grocery stores and things like that. But if you want to look to bigger areas and have more accessibility to everything, you kind of got to go a little bit out of Nimishillen Township. See, it's even kind of hard to say sometimes. But the one last thing that I love is the home prices there. On average, and this can fluctuate any time, obviously, plus or minus, but on average, a home there is only $150,000 on average right now. So if you're looking to live in a nice, small, tight-knit community to where you don't need to be around the hustle and bustle of everything, and you want some affordable housing, Nimishillen Township is a great start. Next up, we have Louisville. So here's the thing with Louisville. It's technically like right within Nimishillen Township. And Nimishillen Township is kind of like inside Louisville. But Louisville is just going to be like the bigger city of Nimishillen Township that the township is inside of. So Louisville is going to be very similar, but you're going to have about the same population. So you got about 9,300 population in Louisville. So between the two of them, we're roughly around 19,000 or so. But Louisville, you're going to have a little bit more. It's where you're going to still have like a rural area. You're going to still have farmland. You're going to still kind of have like somewhat of a smaller community, but you're going to start getting into that little elevated part where it's like it's going to feel a little bit bigger than that such close-knit type community. One thing that's actually very interesting to Louisville to me is even as small as they are, they have like one of the most massive post offices in the area. So it's just absolutely huge. I was baffled when I first saw it. So if you need that, awesome. But for the most part, Louisville is still a small community, bigger than Nimishillen, I would say, but still that small homely feel, just not quite as tight knit and everybody's not quite as close together. Shopping and everything is going to be roughly about the same, except you'll have a few more stores to work with, and you'll start getting closer to like your bigger cities and things like that. If you want to live in Louisville, it's very similar to Nimishillen, to where you're about $151,000 average price point for Louisville area. But either one, Nimishillen on that first one or Louisville, great options if you want that small town feeling, a little bit more rural area, and you're not so worried about being in those big areas with everybody, going crazy and hustling and bustling with it. Next one up is Plain Township. Now, Plain Township technically has about 52,000 population, roughly. So, Plain Township is kind of like a Nimishillen in Louisville, to where it's a smaller community, but it's much more populated. So, obviously, you're going to have a lot more people per square mile there. There's going to be more shops to go to, more restaurants, shopping, things like that. What is nice about Plain Township is, especially if you're a football fan, it's located right by the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So there's tons of events going on there. They have camps for kids throughout the year. Obviously, they have the Hall of Fame enshrinement for NFL players, college players. They've actually held concerts there, fireworks events. So there's a ton of activities going on in the Hall of Fame. And plus, you can be really close to visit at any time. I'm not actually sure if you can get like a season pass to go on there on a regular basis. I've never really checked into it, but who knows? You actually might be able to go there fairly frequently for really cheap, being a resident in the area. But what's nice about Plain Township too is you're starting to get a little bit closer to like your bigger areas, but you're still not so close to them to where you're dealing with all the craziness and the busyness and things like that. And overall, when you're looking at Plain Township, the average price per home is only $154,000. So you're still in a very comfortable price range for most people. Obviously, you can go higher some situations, lower in some situations, but $154,000 is right around the average. And most of the people I talked to in Plain Township really said they feel very safe there. They feel like it's a really good community to be in. And a lot of them have multiple generations that have lived there. So a lot of people grew up there and decided to stay there because they love being raised there and they want to raise their own families there as well. Next one up is North Canton. So North Canton has roughly about 17,000 people living there approximately. So in North Canton, you're going to find with a lot of these cities that we're talking about, none of them are really massive cities. Stark County is the city of Canton, but Canton is super, super busy, and it's a whole different animal to work with. So all these cities like North Canton, like I'm talking about, for example, they're kind of like the outskirts of Canton, and to where you're roughly about 20 to 30 minutes from Akron, and maybe roughly about an hour from Cleveland. So you're really close to a lot of things still, just with a little bit of drive. But Canton is your more center location for your malls and major shopping centers, things like that. The rest of these here are going to be kind of like on the outskirts of that, like I said. But North Canton, if you look up the school districts, very well rated for schools. Just really good ratings across the board. They seem to have really good teacher satisfaction. Parents love sending their kids there, and it's a pretty close community as well. North Canton, you're going to have similar stuff when it comes to like a Plain Township, for when it comes to shopping and things like that. You're going to have that availability. North Canton and Plain Township pretty much next to each other. I mean, not exactly, but they're pretty darn close to each other. So, I mean, you can kind of meet in the middle either way to go to the, grocery stores and restaurants and things along those lines. North Canton is also anywhere from 5 to maybe 10 or 12 minutes from Canton if you really want to do the big shopping and things like that and spend the day, if it's like a Christmas shopping event or something like that, and you want to be out and about for most of the day within the bigger city and things like that. Now, in North Canton, you're starting to go up a little bit more in price. Nothing huge, but in North Canton, the average home is selling for roughly $155,000 in that area. So you can get quite a bit for it. One of my favorite things about North Canton is you have some, not just North Canton schools, but there's also some really nice other schools like Jackson Schools is very well known. Very small parts of North Canton actually go to Lake Schools, which are actually very reputable as well. Just very good schools around the area. And again, this isn't my personal preference. Technically, legally, I'm not allowed to give you an idea, but I'm going basically strict on what the state ratings are. So And I'll actually put that in the comments as well so you can actually see the ratings for those and get an idea of them. But North Canton is just is a nice place to live. One of my favorite places is they have a community pool that you can get a year-long membership to. It's only good for a few months because of the summer. Obviously in Ohio we have snow and ice, so you're not going to go year-long. But massive pool area called Dogwood Pool. A lot of people get memberships there, and it's a great time to spend your summer if you don't have your own pool in the area. Our next stop we're going to look at is Hartville. Hartville is kind of like your, if you're familiar with kind of like Amish country, if I'm with Amish people, it's not completely like that, but you kind of have that feeling. So Hartville is like its own tight-knit community, and everything they do is like for their community essentially. So they're not like a big city that you can go to, but they're not like a small city either. They only have about 3,000 residents, if that gives you an idea. But everybody, anytime you go there, is so extremely friendly. You have such a great experience in there. They have a place called Hartville Kitchen, which is just straight up down home cooking that you can go to. I mean, we're talking mashed potatoes and gravy, meatloaf, rotisserie chicken, homemade Amish noodles, stuff like that. Like, things that you're not going to get at like a steakhouse that you normally go to, but just your really good home cooking type thing. They also have right next to the Hartville Kitchen, you have what's called Hartville Market, where you can buy meats there, cheeses. They do kind of like a flea market where you can buy a whole bunch of different things as well. That is a very popular tourist attraction for people. And then probably one of my favorites, and you'll actually see it in one of my previous videos, is the Hartville Hardware. Hartville Hardware is massive. So think about like a Lowe's, a Home Depot, and Menards on steroids. It's absolutely huge inside, and they have anything from your new stuff to where your old style stuff. You can get like an old style looking kitchen appliances. And actually, I'll tell you what, my wife actually saw some appliances there. They were red, and they're kind of like an old school stove and all that stuff. Brand new. They were just custom made, and the red was kind of weird, but we really liked it. It was like a deep red, and we were interested in looking at buying it. This set was $25,000. Needless to say, we're not spending $25,000 in kitchen appliances. But you get an idea how nice it is. The other thing is they actually have model homes inside of this hardware store. Full scale model homes you can walk through, see all the finishes they do, remodel kitchens, bathrooms. So they actually have remodeled ones to give you an idea what you could put in your home. And then the amount of expertise they have of people helping you with whether you need lawnmower blades or you need your kitchen redone or you just need to know how to fertilize your grass. There are experts in everything there, and they're unbelievably helpful when it comes to helping you with different things. I don't know if I mentioned already, but Hartville, you're roughly about $157,000 average price point. You're about probably 20 to 25 minutes from bigger cities like Canton. But honestly, in Hartville, you could do just about everything. They have pretty much everything there, just not lots of stores, but their stores that they do have cover everything you can imagine. Next up is Uniontown. Uniontown is a smaller community. So ironically, Uniontown is roughly over 3,000, just a little bit over 3,000 people living there. There's not very much in Uniontown itself. So you have a couple grocery stores, there's actually some emergency rooms close by, and a few small boutiques and restaurants. But for the most part, it's just essentially homes and schools is what you're looking for. So if you want to just be kind of same thing as like a Nimishillen or a Louisville, you're going to have that just kind of a smaller area. A lot of people are familiar with each other in Uniontown. It's not a super tight community, but people seem to really love being there. So people enjoy living there. Anybody I know has lived there previously has nothing but great things to say about it. The schools, based on the reports, are rated really well. So a lot of people, it's called green schools that you'd actually go to for kids if you do have kids. That's rated really well. They've gotten a lot of scholarships for kids coming out of there for sports, academics, things along those lines, and they just have a great reputation overall. In Uniontown, you're roughly about $162,000 for your price point purchase. If you want to go to a bigger city, you're gonna have to go to like Akron, which is a little bit north, which is literally, 5 to 10 minutes north. or you can go south, which you're going to go through North Canton, and then you'll go into Canton. Same thing, 10-15 minutes or so, and you're going to have everything you can imagine. So you're kind of like that center mecca for not big time stuff, but you can go either direction and get to the big time stuff. But in general, great things to be said about Uniontown. Everybody that knows that's lived there really loves it. They love the small community, they love non-craziness, and they just enjoy living there in general. Lake Township is going to be our next one. So I mentioned it earlier, Lake Township is right next door to Hartville. So Lake would kind of be like a Uniontown essentially. Oh, and by the way, Uniontown's not far from Hartville either. Lake Uniontown and Hartville are kind of like in a little circle for the most part. So Lake has good school system, just like any of these other ones are rated really well in schools in general in the reports. They're a smaller community in Lake Township. You have about 30,000 people there, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a much smaller community, and it's very quiet. So you're not going to have tons of stores there. You're not going to have tons of like big shopping centers or anything like that. You're going to be used to like your localized stuff. And more similar to Uniontown, you're not going to have so many stores going on. So if you really want to go to like the stores and things like that, you're going to kind of lean towards going into North Canton, which would be close. You're going to want to go to Hartville if you want to kind of like that more country type setting, more low-key setting, or you can go to Uniontown, but the problem with that is Uniontown doesn't have a whole lot either. So, and then your last default would be going to the Canton area, because Lake's a little bit farther away from Akron than what Uniontown is, so Canton would be a little bit more optimal place for you to go. But in in Lake, you're going up a little bit in price. The average house in Lake is selling for $182,000 right now. So you will spend a little bit more to be in that area. Again, any of these areas are great choices. It's just really a preference of what you look at and where you want to be location-wise and what price points you want to be and all sorts of stuff, obviously. But another fantastic choice to go to Lake. I know several friends that have kids in Lake schools. They love it there. I know friends that live in Lake, obviously. And it's just a good community overall, just like any other one here. The last one is Jackson Township. So what's very interesting is there's about 40,000 people in Jackson Township. But what's really interesting about that is Jackson Township is really, really small actually. So I'm baffled. I'm not sure. I checked different sites for the statistics and things like that. It's really hard for me to believe that 40,000 people live there because it is such a small area technically. A lot of people live in the communities surrounding Jackson Township, but not directly in Jackson Township. So it's really odd. But Jackson Township, they have a really well-known school, Jackson Schools. There's other cities that actually go to that same school district as well. Very good academic programs, really good with sports. They actually have had baseball teams that have won many state championships there, as well as other sports teams, so very reputable there. Jackson is right next to North Canton, and it's also kind of right next to Canton. So Jackson kind of branches off to both of those a little bit. So if you want to live in North Canton, a lot of people live in North Canton, go to Jackson Schools. If you want to live directly in Jackson, it's a little bit harder to find houses there. We don't see too many houses come up for sale right in Jackson Township. So it's a little bit harder to purchase there. A lot of people usually buy and stay there for quite a long time and raise their families there. But if you want to stay in Jackson, you got the area to where there is grocery stores and things along those lines. They have lots of sporting events there. They have like your different boutiques, some restaurants there and things like that. But again, just like every one of these like cities we talked about, none of these are booming major city centers. That's where Canton is. Canton is kind of like the hub for all of these. But just like Uniontown, people rave about living in Jackson. People love it there. What I have seen talking to people, everybody seems to be friends with everybody in Jackson. So everybody seems to know of who somebody is. Maybe they're not close-knit friends, but if I say Jim over here, oh yeah, I know Jim, the baseball coach, or Bob over here has the restaurant. So everybody's really close-knit there, and everybody wants to be friends. So it's just really a kind of close community that everybody wants to do things together. It's not about your family does one thing, my family does another thing. It's just like, let's do something together as a family and come together as a community and have a lot of fun. So Jackson Gray out there. If I mentioned the price point, not yet. If I didn't mention it, it's $198,000. So you're starting to get up there to where you're crossing that $200,000 mark almost. Jackson is a more expensive area to live in. It's very desirable for most people is what it is. It has that great community feeling. Like I said, there is some shopping nearby and stuff, but it's close to everything, but far away from not everything, if you kind of get what I'm feeling or get what I'm saying. But you know, I've been bumbling the whole time in this video. My apologies for being all crazy and jumping or falling over my words here. But in general, Jackson is a great area to live, and I would recommend it just like I'd recommend any of these other 7 based on the different ratings you see from different websites. So this sums it all up. You got 8 great options to live in Stark County. They all kind of come out of the Canton hub for the most part. I'll actually show them all in these different maps that you'll have seen. You can see where every one of them is located. They're all great options to go to. And like I said earlier on in the video here, if you could do me a quick favor, just give me a thumbs up, give me a like on this video if I helped you out with some information. If you want to take the time to click on the subscribe button, also click the little bell so you get notified every time a new video comes up. I'm doing videos and bringing up new stuff if you want to know about any different areas. I did another video about Summit County, just north of here, so you can actually look in the Summit County where to live. But if you need to reach out to me at any time, if there's anything you need, have any questions about the communities, have any questions about the real estate market, mortgages, title companies, anything you need to know about any of that stuff, just reach out to me. You can reach me by text, email, phone call, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, however you want to reach me. I am available through any one of those channels. Take the time to watch some more of these videos. There's some great options in there. Just like before, give me a like, thumbs up for all those as well. That'd be awesome. But there's a lot of information I'm putting in these videos. I'm building up this even more, so hopefully you guys will take the time to actually review all the videos to see what you really like about the areas. But with all that said, it was a pleasure doing this video for you guys today. I had a lot of fun doing it. I love the Stark County area in general. But with all that, I'm gonna get out of here, and I will see you guys in the next video.